The reason you constantly veer off course is that you handle discipline as if it's a negotiation, and it's a debate you're currently failing. The fact that less than 10% of resolutions are ever maintained is because most guidance is structured around that very negotiation. This isn't some casual talk with your former self. It's about establishing an entirely new baseline for performance. What this is truly about is implementing a single, straightforward framework designed to make your advancement feel effortless, so you aren't forced to exhaust your mental reserves simply to regain your footing. Further on, we will dissect the paradoxical logic explaining how some of your supposed good habits may actually be the primary obstacles preventing your success. Action 1. Create irreversible motion. Could it be that the counsel to begin modestly is the actual thing that continually derails you? You're attempting to bargain with an assignment you're procrastinating on, showing up to a duel with a courteous petition. You fail consistently because the entire strategy is flawed. In Muay Thai, the solution for a relentless adversary isn't discussion. It's a straight kick to the torso, the teep club. You don't debate their advance, you disrupt their offensive. The assault halts immediately. This is the mental framework needed for when you're stuck. That side of your personality that delays action is the adversary, and subtle prompts will be ineffective. This isn't about mustering greater resolve, however. It's a matter of strategic design. Shifting just one container in a cluttered garage isn't the play. The play is to drag all of it onto the drive, in plain view of the whole neighborhood. Composing a single line of that document you're dreading isn't the answer. The answer is to schedule a conference with your superior to review the completed document, manufacturing a due date that is impossible to evade. Observe that the objective here isn't about simplifying the job, it's to make retreat unfeasible. This is an instrument of commitment, your own irreversible threshold. You're compelling yourself to act in order to generate forward motion. Most people anticipate the arrival of inspiration before they take action. This approach does the reverse. It compels the deed, and the sensation of progress comes after. It's the singular gambit your former habits won't ever anticipate. Action 2. Compassion of a crushing advance. You're on the driveway, encircled by a disaster of your own making. After hauling everything out of the garage, you're now paralyzed, staring at the wreckage. Your initial drive has evaporated, your energy is plummeting, and the impulse to just walk away is getting louder. Conventional wisdom would tell you to pause. This is a major tactical misstep. It grants your old habits, the opposition, an opening to recover and clinch the victory. You never give a weakened adversary the chance to get their wind back. In Muay Thai, the solution for this instance is the chapko, the clinch. You don't step back. You close the gap, seize the back of their head, and yank them down into a smothering onslaught of knee strikes. You only relent once their resolve to resist is shattered. How do you translate this to your task without flaming out? This is the moment you clinch with the job ahead. It requires a focused surge of effort, not an endless grueling session. For the next 2 hours, you wipe your calendar clean, you power off your phone, you dedicate yourself to an intense sprint engineered to snap the project's backbone and your inner reluctance in one move. A quick victory is an act of profound kindness to the man you'll be tomorrow, far more than the slow, grinding loss that accompanies inaction. This isn't about imposing unbearable strain. It's a deliberate offensive designed to avert a protracted, spirit-sapping war against yourself. Action 3. Action 3, locking in progress by sabotaging the back. Here's a hard truth. The conventional wisdom about never burning bridges might be the very reason you can't maintain your momentum. You move forward, feel powerful for a few days, only to slide back to your initial position. This relapse occurs because the route for retreat remains accessible and inviting. Your approach resembles a contest of scoring where dropping a single round feels acceptable. Certain Muay Thai techniques are designed not for points, but to conclude a bout decisively. A prime example is the sock tongue, a downward elbow strike to the spine, which is forbidden in sanctioned matches. The goal of such a move isn't simply victory, it's to permanently disable an adversary's capacity to fight on. Think of this less as brutality and more as strategic architecture. You're eliminating a foundational choice. This same mindset must be directed at the very systems that sustain your old identity. Your momentum wanes not because of insufficient willpower, but because the adversary's supply routes are undamaged. The fundamental problem is that retreat remains a viable option. It's a proven clinical method for relapse prevention, not merely a mental shift. This translates to action. Instead of just removing a distracting application from your device, you eradicate the entire account along with its associated data. Rather than simply step-siding a harmful social circle for a few days, you obstruct their contact numbers and overhaul the behavioral patterns that draw you toward them. You inflict an irreversible architectural wound upon the ecosystem that nurtures the negative behavior. You aren't just wishing against a retreat. You are obliterating the path that leads backward, making it structurally impossible to fail in the same manner again. Action 4. Action 4, ambushing procrastination with a feint. You've committed to the work, even sealed off your exits, but you're still stuck. What do you do when you can't even start? You're staring at the assignment, but your mind is completely disengaged, immobilized. Your motivation has flatlined. The raw power we discussed before is useless here. This situation demands cleverness, not sheer strength. A brutally clever technique exists in Muay Thai, the reverse elbow spin, known as Sokung Glob. Instead of advancing, you turn away from your rival, pretending to fall back. The instant their defense drops, you whip around with a devastating elbow strike. To your adversary, it looks like a blunder, not a calculated assault. This same kind of trickery can be applied to your own mind. Large projects come with a significant activation energy, a mental barrier your mind erects to prevent you from starting. Trying to break through it directly is futile. The way to ambush a stalled mind is to deceive it. You execute a false retreat by dedicating yourself to an absurdly tiny portion of the job. Forget 5 minutes, think just 60 seconds. Do nothing more than launch the program or simply lace up your shoes. It's a calculated deception. Psychologists have a name for the mechanism this exploits, the Zeigarnik effect. The principle is that our brains create a cognitive tension concerning unfinished tasks, which compels us to return and complete them. This insignificant initial step is small enough to bypass your mind's defenses, yet it establishes an unresolved cycle. That minuscule, almost laughable effort forges an anchor your mind cannot disregard. Your feigned withdrawal has just become the actual attack. Action 5. Matching effort to the task. You rise, poised to dominate the day. Your initial assignment? Clearing 3 emails. For this, you disconnect your phone, lock down every website, and don your noise-isolating headphones. You're approaching a minor chore as if it's a final exam. You're delivering a haymaker to a polite chat. This is precisely why you feel drained by midday. Your momentum falters not due to a shortage of strength, but from its improper application. In Muay Thai, a distinction exists between raw destruction and surgical accuracy. The elbow strike, or sakti, is not meant as a full-body finishing move. It's an incisive, swift slice designed to neutralize a particular danger with optimal effect, like cutting an opponent's arm to halt their attack. It resolves the immediate threat without squandering stamina. The tactical mistake causing your exhaustion is not a deficit of willpower, it's that you've abandoned a fighter's mindset for a sledgehammer mentality. Think of your willpower as a finite power source, and you're expending it on trivialities. While psychologists label this ego depletion, the concept is more straightforward. Deploying an all-or-nothing approach for a 5-minute job is like using a blowtorch to light a match. It gets the job done, but you'll quickly be left powerless and in the dark. The higher-level ability is modulating force, not merely producing it. Each day, you possess a finite number of devastating strikes. Are you squandering them on jobs that merely need a gentle nudge? Before taking action, you must become an evaluator. Does this job simply require a 5-minute countdown? A basic calendar notification? Or does it genuinely demand the empty the entire garage method we discussed earlier? Achieving this mastery isn't about reducing your workload. It's about ensuring you have the stamina remaining to triumph in the battles that truly count. Action 6. Fortifying your concentration.
Your impulse to be accommodating is the chief culprit for your constant loss of traction. The conviction that being an effective collaborator means agreeing to every quick question is precisely what leaves you feeling fragmented when the day is done. After each disruption, a piece of your brain stays latched onto the prior activity. This mental drag destroying your momentum is what researchers call attention residue. Why then are you permitting others to steal your concentration throughout the day? Muay Thai provides a savage solution for this: the cow wood, a horizontal knee driven into the ribs. Its objective isn't to parley with an opponent charging forward. Its function is to obstruct their advance with a solid shield of bone. The assault is instantly neutralized, bringing their forward motion and the conversation to a definitive end. You must embrace a protector's mentality.
Start perceiving these interruptions as what they are: direct assaults on your concentration, not courteous inquiries. This is not a negotiation, it's a clash of priorities, and at the moment, theirs are prevailing. Blocking these assaults demands a decisive tactical no. This means a shut door. It means disabling notifications and holding that line. This behavior isn't about being discourteous. It's a matter of safeguarding your energy. Securing your concentration is not a self-centered act. It's the sole method for accumulating enough of it to achieve meaningful headway. Action 7. Cost of a dirty fight. You skipped the gym. You ate the junk food. And now that inner critic begins its assault, telling you you're undisciplined, that you failed. You call this discipline, a way to get yourself back in line. You believe this harsh self-reproach is the fuel you require, but you are just running a cheap con on yourself. It is a system that's engineered to imitate strength, but in reality, it's the most reliable path to falling off track permanently. In traditional Muay Boran, there is a prohibited two-stage attack, the tap trunk plus cow loi. It consists of a groin kick followed by a flying knee. The groin kick is not the genuine assault. It's a brutal, unlawful jolt created only to shatter an adversary's stance, rendering them defenseless for the catastrophic follow-up. It gets results, but it's a move born of desperation. Shame functions as your personal groin kick. Studies confirm it provides a potent, short-term surge of motivation for change. But here is the element that's consistently ignored. That blow throws your brain into a state of survival, disrupting concentration and generating resistance to the exact task you are attempting to complete. You are deploying an emergency tactic as a daily strategy. The trouble is, a brain in survival mode is incapable of construction. It cannot learn, it cannot focus, and it cannot build momentum. It can only react to the apparent threat, which in this situation is you. You might secure a few daily victories against yourself, but your defeat in the war for your own self-esteem is guaranteed. It's an unworkable system. Difference between a hit and a loss. You skip a single training session. You indulge in some unhealthy food. Immediately, your inner judge declares, "I've failed." You start to think this fleeting moment of discomfort is the final say on your progress, that you've completely derailed. The battle, however, isn't over when you take a blow. It's over when you buy into the narrative that blow creates. How can one tiny slip-up register as a total catastrophe? This exact scenario has a parallel in Muay Thai, a brutal technique called Lang Lukin. This isn't a fight-ending strike. It's a degrading scrape of the shin across the ankle, engineered specifically to generate acute, diverting agony. The objective of that strike is to make you defeat yourself, not to injure you. Your former self employs this very strategy. The tactic succeeds by compelling you to glance downward, fixate on the discomfort, and lose sight of the larger conflict. That skipped workout? The donut? It was a shin scrape, a minor hit meant to halt your momentum and convince you to adopt a narrative of defeat. Here is where the genuine effort starts. As Stoic philosophy notes, our anguish stems not from the incident itself, but from the judgment we attach to it. Your job is to distinguish the reality of the setback from the fiction of your failure. This has nothing to do with pretending the pain isn't there. The reality, you missed one day. The narrative, I'm a loser who never follows through. You must accept the reality while completely dismissing the narrative. You register the ache, adjust your posture, and then you advance. The discomfort from a mistake is fleeting. The decision to remain on the ground is what makes it permanent. Get back up. Forging your personal doctrine. So you have mastered the most potent techniques. What's next? Applying brute force to every single challenge? That is the surest path to complete exhaustion. You constantly find your progress derailing, not because your methods are inadequate, but because you lack a personal doctrine. You're waging a disorganized, unfair battle against your own nature, and you're running out of energy. The time has come to evolve from a mere fighter into a tactician. What you require is a set of guiding principles. A useful model for this is drawn from the principles of warfare, a system for determining when conflict is necessary and how to engage in it without causing your own defeat. First, consider the justification for conflict. Does this behavior represent a true danger to your well-being, or is it simply a trivial irritation? Have you previously attempted less aggressive approaches? These questions establish your just cause and confirm you're using this as a last resort. This principle prevents you from launching a full-scale offensive over something as minor as a single dessert. The most crucial rule, however, involves discrimination. You must learn to differentiate between the adversary, the undesirable action, and the non-combatants. In this internal battle, who are the non-combatants? They are your sense of self, your vitality, and your core identity. You concentrate the assault on the pattern of behavior, never your own character. This is what prevents the devastating side effect of shame, the very emotion that consistently forces you to abandon your efforts. Don't mistake this approach for being lenient. It is entirely about being strategic. It converts the disorganized struggle you've been repeatedly defeated by into a methodical campaign you can actually win. This process helps you construct a superior daily practice that finally endures. Consequence: disarming the warrior. You emerged victorious from the brutal battle with your former identity. You established a superior routine and are achieving consistent advancement. So why is this victory so isolating? On the proving grounds of self-betterment, you forged yourself into an instrument of war. The trouble is, you carried that instrument back to your sanctuary. In traditional Muay Boran, there is a prohibited technique, the headbutt, known as hua kwang. It is outlawed in sport as its entire mechanism is based on raw shock. It's a brutal, intimate strike that demolishes confidence because no one anticipates it from a friend. It violates the implicit code of conduct. How is it possible that the very discipline which rescued you is now inflicting such harm? This is precisely how you're impacting your relationships. The same exacting benchmarks that enabled you to conquer your old self have transformed into a cudgel used against the people you love. You pass judgment on their perceived lack of advancement. You grow irritated by their impulsiveness. You rush to solve their difficulties rather than simply hearing them out. Each critique is a minor headbutt. This is no mere hypothesis. High performers frequently falter in personal connections because the exact traits that power their achievements, control, a focus on objectives, and perfectionism, generate enormous strain and emotional detachment. You have become so accustomed to combat that you cannot distinguish a companion from a foe. The instruments you crafted to vanquish your own frailties turn poisonous when directed at other people. The weapon of discipline is a heavy burden, and its weight is the social price of brandishing it without discernment. The ultimate, most difficult teaching isn't to master a new offensive move. It's recognizing when to lay your arms aside.